Hope you're having a great day, and welcome to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio, where we celebrate every single day so many wonderful people who are working in the trenches across the state of Mississippi to make this such a great place to live, work, and play. No big speeches to give today. We're going to go right to my guest. Looking forward to visiting with Cynthia Sutton, who's the executive director for the Ocean Springs Chamber, and she also has Main Street and tourism responsibilities over there as well. And we'll get an update on how everything is going. But before we go any further, Cynthia, how you doing?
Doing good. I'm glad to be here and, glad to have a little bit better weather lately.
That's good. Hey, listen, I'm looking forward. I'm actually coming over to Ocean Springs tomorrow, and there's going to be a mayor's forum. And I'm going to be sort of the MC of the mayor's forum, like I did the last time that they had a mayor's forum. So I'm looking forward to coming over there and getting involved in Ocean Springs democracy. It's alive and well there, isn't it?
It is. It is a lot going on, but it's good. Ocean Springs has, I'm going to say, some sought after assets that everybody just loves. So it's no surprise.
Hey, listen, of course, the snow, it seems like it snowed 2 years ago now. It was only, 3 weeks ago, however long it was. But I saw some pictures from downtown Ocean Springs because I saw pictures from everywhere. But, man, there's just something about snow. It reminded me of Gatlinburg, seeing the snow in downtown Ocean Springs. It felt that way, and I love Gatlinburg.
It did really. It was really, really cool. We hadn't had it for over 10 years, I think was the last time that the news said that we had snow in coastal Mississippi. So Ocean Springs, it was so much fun, just to see it. We got over 8 inches of snow, to see our local business owners out there at their own homes with their families. I'll say they got a much needed break for a couple of days from the, tourist destination that Ocean Springs is. So it was actually really, really fun to have that for a couple of days, but I think we're all glad it's gone.
I think that's a universal feeling. It was awesome, but we're not prepared for the scenario of snow on our roads, especially in schools, the whole 9 yards, everything kind of shuts down. At what point did you start to notice people trickling back into the Welcome Center?
We were closed for 2 days. We opened back up on the third day, where we literally were having to push snow off the porch. And I think we didn't even get a visitor that day. So it was probably about day 4 after the snow that visitors slowly started coming in. It was interesting. We actually had some visitors from up north. So it was nothing new to them to see what we were struggling with.
Yeah, that was the fun part. All the snowbirds that were in town, and they just kind of laughed at us and how we're dealing with it. And there's a lot of snowbirds in town. In fact, I was riding at the corner of Cowan and Highway 90 in Gulfport. There's an a VIP RV park that Pete Vicari and his sons developed. And and we went to church over at St. James on this Sunday a week ago. And, man, there were so many really, really expensive motorhomes in there. But they're here in force right now, aren't they?
They are. Just recently, we've had Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois. Yes, they are. This is the time of year for us in Ocean Springs that we see those snowbirds. I'm sure along coastal Mississippi, but in Ocean Springs, January, February, March, and April is really where all those snowbirds are going to be here. And we also have some snowbirds that come down for a week, for a month, some that volunteer as a docent at the Walter Anderson Museum of Art. So, some consider this like family and like their second home when they come down here for the season. It's cool.
Very, very, very cool. It's so look, you guys always have a lot going on, but what's your to-do list look like these days?
Well, I always think January is really our only slow month, from the organization to the business community to the tourist area of the community. Really, January is the only that slow month. Now we are in full force Mardi Gras mode. We have 2 Mardi Gras parades. We're still hoping we hold on to the title as the first Mardi Gras parade of the season here coming up. And then, of course, we have a king cake contest. That's really, really cool that bakeries we purchase cakes from, and but visitors get to really try it out. Like this week, that couple that came from Minnesota said they've never had king cake. They don't really know anything about Mardi Gras. They didn't know the history of Mardi Gras or any of that. So to me, that's really the purpose of doing the king cake contest, is exposure to our businesses, but also helping to educate those snowbirds about the culture. So we have that coming up. We have our annual membership meeting coming up at beautiful Gulf Hills. And then March, more fun, from Mardi Gras parades in February to March, St. Patty's Day celebration, to our Spring Arts Fest, which has become a mini Peter Anderson festival.
It's interesting. I had a terrific conversation recently with Robert St. John, the chef, about king cakes and his bakery, which they've invested a ton of money in this bakery, and they did tremendous research, and they've had tremendous success with their king cakes. They're sending them all over the country. And then Austin Summerall from White Pillows and I had a similar conversation. And I remember my time as publisher of the Times-Picayune over in New Orleans, and I mentioned this on the air, but they would, folks would just bring these king cakes from all over the city. And there's, king cakes are kind of like gumbo. Certain people like different aspects to it. Right. But my thing is, I don't want too much sugar on the top, and I want moist. I want that overall, consistency of it to be moist. And I don't have a real preference to what it's stuffed with, but who doesn't love king cakes, Cynthia?
Exactly. And, it's really fun for us in Ocean Springs because, we have so many restaurants around town. So it's really fun to see the different creations. Like we have one of our ice cream shops is going to make ice cream king cake. We have our Kilwins. They're going to make a king cake treat. And then like this week we have king cake. We have king cake cupcakes. We have king cake cookies. So it's really fun just for our bakeries and our businesses to have fun celebrating something we already know about, but they kind of are finding fun, different ways to showcase the king cake from traditional to non-traditional. And I say each of them has their own unique flavor, and it's really fun.
Well, look, I came through town not long ago, and I was just kind of driving through, and when I do, if it's been a while since I've been there, I'll just kind of drive around and see what's happening. I always see something a little bit new. Of course, the construction projects are at different stages. I love seeing the activity over there in the Walter Anderson block as they continue to push toward that vision. I had Julian Rankin on recently, and we talked in detail about it. But that's progressing incredibly well. And what a wonderful little area of the city to direct people toward, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's really, really cool just to see. I mean, I always try to say that, we've become who we are, our town, from the art to the economic development to the growth that we see today. It's really thanks to the Anderson family and their legacy and creating their art compound and creating their art colony. So to see the Walter Anderson continue to grow and that family continue to grow was amazing. Here at the Depot, we share a building with Realizations, which is the Anderson family shop. And it is so cool to see and hear where they are shipping art pieces to. Their art, their artwork, amazing, all over the country, all over the world, really. And that just, to me, says a lot about the Anderson family, the art legacy that we have here in Ocean Springs.
Well, listen, since Robert St. John and his partner wrote the book and did the incredible documentary on Walter Anderson's life that has played across the United States, I can't tell you how many times, literally in just about every community of the United States. Has it changed the amount of business that they're getting and the interest in having his art sent to people across the country?
It has. It has increased. Coupled with that book and with being featured on Hometown, they still get a huge increase in customers that wanting to ship to them all over the U.S., which is really neat to see. They'll come over and let us know, like we've shipped to Canada, we've shipped to here, we shipped to here. That's amazing for a small community and an artist family such as that.
Well, listen, that Hometown reality show has had incredible influencer power. Mm-hmm. It's been unbelievable watching what it's done.
It has.
We need to get one for us.
Yeah. I would say turning a community that's just a small Main Street community to something that many other Main Street communities are excited and envious of. It's amazing what it's done.
That is really cool. So listen, we're coming to the end of the segment. When we come back on the other side, we'll get down to some of the specifics on big key events coming for the Ocean Springs Chamber. There's never a dull moment in your life, but we'll talk about key dates and things that are happening. We'll continue our conversation with Cynthia Sutton right after this. Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. We're visiting with my friend Cynthia Sutton from I always say the Ocean Springs Chamber, but she actually wears 3 or 4 or 5 different hats. So we always do this, but I think it's always good to do this. Why don't you remind people what you guys have responsibility for working there in the depot in Ocean Springs?
Thanks. Yeah, well, the Ocean Springs Chamber organization has been around since 1947. So we've been around for a long time. In 1965, we bought the historic train depot here in downtown Ocean Springs, which houses us, the Chamber, the Main Street, the Visitor Center. We actually have a visitor center here that sees thousands of visitors every month and every year that come through. I think we once again have had 49 different states come through the visitor center in Ocean Springs. Every year we always miss it by one. There's always one state that just hasn't made it through the visitor center. But the Chamber, we're just like all the rest of our partners along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, being a professional development organization. We host networking events. We have breakfast with the mayor that we just had recently in Ocean Springs. And then our Main Street arm is a real passion of mine, because that is the revitalization of downtown, working with what makes the heartbeat of town and the economic growth and development of town. From the art projects, we're working with the Ocean Springs Art Association this year because they lost their home. So we're doing some cool things with them this year through that arm. And then, of course, being a tourism bureau, the visitor center that we have. And we're the marketing arm of the city of Ocean Springs. So we pitch stories. You'll see some cool stories coming out in Mississippi Magazine, AAA Traveler, and some other magazines throughout the South region or U.S. that we try to pitch our wonderful story of our authentic self to get people to come visit. So that's just us in a nutshell, not mentioning the 14 festivals and events we put on every year.
It is. Again, there's never a dull moment in your world, and you've got a great board too for the chamber. I mean, they very engaged. Tell me a little bit about how the board is doing.
Yeah. So, we are a January through December calendar year. So our new board rolled in. We'll present all of them at our annual meeting coming up at Gulf Hills. But this year's chairman of the board is Jeff Shepard with Mississippi Power, and Sandra Carter, who owned a local business in Ocean Springs. She rolls to ex officio, who's been our leader for the last 2 years, actually. And so we have such a great board. We have, folks from Chevron, folks from our local banks that are part of our team, some business owners. Our vice president this year is Will Taylor, who owns the Lady May, the Glory Bound, the Garage. If you haven't been to the Garage, which just opened, it's so cool. The memorabilia that's in there from some old classic, I'm going to call them classic movies. It's not that old.
Hey, by the way, while we're on the subject, make a note to yourself. I'd love to have him on the show. I'd love to tell his story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get him.
Yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
the board is active and really supportive. And you go back in history, it's incredible the role that the chamber has played in Ocean Springs over all these years. They have just been solid as a rock, hasn't it?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I say, one of our aldermen used to say, how's the community so successful? How is all this happening in the town? And he used to always say, get to know your local chamber or Main Street organization. We're real partners with them to make things happen. Honestly, I think, I think each other for Ocean Springs, we need the city, the city needs the chamber, Main Street to help us sustain. We're a small community, situated in the middle of big Pascagoula, big Biloxi. So, I mean, the strength in that leadership and partnership to me is a vital necessity of how our community has run. And we are very fortunate that I have such an amazing team. Like you were talking about the board, they're really engaged. They volunteer and work at all of our festivals and events. It's almost like if one of them can't come, we feel like we have a missing piece of the pie because they're so vital. And then my team, Morgan and Danny, there's just 3 of us here now. And I'm so fortunate to have had them for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. They've been here for many years. And we just work like clockwork as a team. I'm very blessed to have.
So you mentioned Mardi Gras, and it's amazing to me that we're even having that conversation already. But when are the key Mardi Gras parades? And then give me an idea of some of the other upcoming events.
Right. Okay. So February 15th is our day parade at 1 p.m. and we have 2 parades. We have the Elks Parade followed by Crew Unique 1 and 1:30. And usually I don't have the unit count just yet, but usually that's 85 plus units that's going to roll in downtown. And we pretty much have like a set parade route that everything kind of follows, starting with the beach. So we have the day parade and then the night parade. I'm looking at my cheat sheet. Our night parade is February 28th. And that's in downtown too. So that's going to be really, really cool. And then, of course, we have Mardi Gras Day. But then March the 15th, which is a Saturday, that's when we're going to celebrate St. Patty's Day. We're partnering with Mitchell Distributing. We're going to have a really cool kickoff at one of our businesses in downtown in the afternoon with the pub crawl. During the day, our business is going to offer green specials just to get into the Irish spirit. And then we'll close out, I guess you'll say, almost our first quarter with the Spring Arts Festival. Now more than 30 years, 200 vendors, and people have coined it, and I'm so happy that they have, as a mini Peter Anderson Festival. We have 1/3 to almost half of the vendors now have participated in the Peter Anderson Festival. So that's an amazing, amazing thing that we're excited to have. We have some really cool partners this year to kind of help make it fun. And we're doing a really cool art activity at it. So we're trying to sprinkle a little more art in some of our things this year, because that's what we're known for. That's our history, as we talked about earlier. And we're partnering with a business in downtown called Etha Terra. It is an art studio. If you've never been there, Heather Martin, she's wonderful. She's actually going to bring in the middle of downtown an art project where those who attend can actually participate. And I'm taking a minute to get it out because it's kind of cool. It's going to be a canvas. It's going to be a paint by numbers. It's going to have a Walter Anderson design on one of them. There's going to be an abstract design. It's going to be a really cool art project that the community is going to help us create during the Spring Arts Festival, which is March 22nd and 23rd in downtown Ocean Springs. Well,
so Cynthia, it's slowly but surely becoming a mini Peter Anderson Festival. Do you see it actually becoming as strong as Peter Anderson at some point? Because the timing's perfect.
I do. And now that we've seen so many Peter Anderson artists backing that festival for us, yes, I do. And it comes right on the heels of the Fairhope Art Festival and our neighbor right over there in Alabama. So it's a great time of year that we have this festival. And I mean, really, it is to see and have that art project in the center of town this year really turns it into an art festival. And it brings, we have more than 200 artists and brings 30,000 so far people into Ocean Springs over those 2 days. So it is turning into a mini. We want to keep it different from Peter Anderson, but people asked us about 7-8 years back in surveys that we did that they wanted a springtime art festival. So our urban, it started out as an urban garden festival with some art sprinkled in. So you'll still see a lot of garden art in that festival because it's springtime. So why not, spruce up your house, your home, with a little bit of art, whether it's flowers or pots or just a great wall art painting.
It sounds super cool. I haven't actually had the opportunity to experience it yet, but we'll go this year and take it all in. Again, the timing's perfect for something like that. I really like the timing of it. And what a great compliment to the Peter Anderson Festival. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you build off the success of that?
Exactly. And we're fortunate that we have the same team that puts on the Peter Anderson Festival to do that. So I think that helps and it says a lot. And again, Ocean Springs is an artist community and our businesses, up until about 3 or 4 years ago, we still had some businesses in downtown that would close on Sunday during that festival. And now everybody stays open on Saturday and Sunday because, it is quite a cool event.
Yeah, the economy of Ocean Springs is thriving, mm-hmm. and you like to walk around. We're coming to the end, but merchants are still as happy as they always are about how things are going.
They are, and you just kind of have to come and see the growth and some of the new businesses that are about to pop up throughout springtime. It's quite amazing.
Well, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you, as it always is, Cynthia. Thanks for joining me today.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's been Cynthia Sutton.
See you in Ocean Springs soon.
Yeah. Cynthia Sutton from the Ocean Springs Chamber and Main Street Welcome Center. And again, landlord. they do it all there. Listen, when we come back, we're going to be joined by the mayor of Gaucher. We'll see you after this.